we are in like desperate need for a win.
Yeah.
And we need to get a win.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to UpTheCaps. This is the Final Whistle podcast, episode 2. Whitecaps versus Chicago, away game, a 1-1 result. What do you guys see it as? A 2-point loss or a 1-point gain? Fadi?
I think it was a 2-point loss for us, given the fact that there was a terrible VAR decision again, that win against the Whitecaps in the last minutes of the game. And another reason why I think it's a 2-point loss for us is because we are in like desperate need for a win.
Yeah.
And we need to get a win.
I think whenever you're in a position like this, 5 games, no win, and then you're winning in the game, you're always going to see it as 2 points lost. Even though in the press conference, Mark Dos Santos was saying it's important to get a point away from home, and I agree to an extent. If you're on a 5-game winning streak, you're up there trying to win the league or, get the top seed in the playoffs, and, you say, okay, point away from home is okay. At this point, something has to happen. And it looked like we were going to get our first win, even though, like Fadi, you can talk about this all day. We had all the pressure against us. 23 shots against it, or 22 shots the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started, first half, we didn't have a single shot on target. And we sat back. You could see that the Chicago Fire, they were frustrated. They couldn't break through. They had their shots and their moments, but still, we were defending. We were solid in defense. And we sat back. The only player who was pressing was Freddy Montero for the entire time. And like I said, we didn't have a single shot on target. And that means, the mentality was going there, not to concede, keep a clean sheet, try to get, a point or maybe go for the win. And we got lucky, to score the first goal, a mistake from Osted. Yeah, and but we didn't take a lot of the chances we had. It was like the shot from Ardaiz that hit the crossbar. That's another moment, crucial moment in the game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Ruz, you're looking at some of the stats for us. Could we talk a little bit about the possession, maybe shots on target?
So overall, 60.2% possession for the Chicago Fire, and we had 39.8.
Yeah, that's not enough to win games. It is away from home. Chicago are a good team. They had a much better record than us going into it, but we have to do something like desperation. So if we're going to talk tactics, the whole game, I think I saw Freddy as like a false 9. Like, not false 9, maybe just a striker that always drops deep. The places he's picking up the ball in is like near the center circle, and we're attacking. I saw him like drift out to the wing and stuff, and I think that's all fine, but I'm not seeing, like you saw, no shots on target. I'm not seeing opportunity come from there. Is he bad in that position? No. In the number 10 position? No, he's not terrible, but the shots are not coming from there. Like, he's not. I just don't know what is the solution here.
I think we sat so far deep, defending the first half, especially the first 20, 25 minutes of the game, to the point where Freddy had to drop to almost center mid to get a ball because he just didn't get the ball. And it was very difficult for him. And he's the type of striker where you have to play to his feet. He's not, he's not like, for example, Kai Kamara.
Yeah.
You can't just play a long ball. I mean, he's a different striker than most of them. Yeah.
Well,
so.
Sorry, I was gonna say. Well, different type of striker comes on, Ardaiz, and he's very direct. Right when he comes on around 75 minutes into the game, very direct, nice little change of pace. I love that. I feel like a lot of players are just dribble at the same pace. Try a trick or two, change of direction, change of pace, cuts to his left side a little bit, shoots with his left off the crossbar.
Good shot, very good shot.
Very good shot.
That was a good shot. Yeah, I mean, he was positive when he came on, so he's trying to create something. If that's a goal, it's pretty much game over.
The game's done.
Yeah,
no matter what. Weird VAR call.
But it's just small small moments like that in the game, and they're so crucial. We have to finish our chances. It's just when you get the chance, you have to score. That was unlucky. I mean, he did what he had to do. He took on 2 players and unleashed a good strike.
Yeah.
But it was very unlucky.
I was surprised because I felt like the whole game we were struggling to get into the final third, and this guy is by himself, and he had our best chance of the game. Probably a better chance than Jordi Reina's attempt. So let's talk a little bit about the VAR. Everyone's talking about it. It's all over Twitter. It's all over the internet. People are saying we're screwed by VAR again. We got screwed by VAR against Real Salt Lake. The worst VAR call I've ever seen in my life. No contact. After you look at it, there's no contact. I don't know how that's given. Seattle Sounders, there could have been something on Huang Inbom with the late slide tackle. Okay, we didn't get that one. That sucks. Whatever. We got a point at home. And then LA Galaxy, Freddy Montero, when we were talking to him, he told us the referee could have gone and seen the video. And yet again, VAR, walk us through what happened here.
It was like, another decision that went against us. I mean, after the Seattle game, you know, when Ardaiz cut in for that shot and, you know, someone tackled Inbom, and another decision that went against us. And I think that's not a penalty.
Yeah,
There's no way that's a penalty. What's his name? Henry?
Yeah.
Henry's hand? Yeah, that was not a penalty. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So there was no need to even go to the VAR. You know, I don't think that's a penalty at all.
What's the rule behind VAR? I know you were saying earlier about the handballs.
I think the official handball rule in the laws of the game is whether it's considered ball to hand, right? If the ball is coming, if you're close enough to the ball, you don't really have time to make a decision, and you haven't put yourself in a position where you're outstretched like unnaturally. So if you have your hands like in close to you and the ball gets shot, you can't act faster than the ball, so you can't give that as a penalty. And he was right there. Daniil Henry was standing right in front of where the ball came, and it didn't even look like it hit his arm to me. I thought it hit his chest.
He wasn't even looking at the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
He had no idea.
It wasn't like his arm was in a position to, it was like
just
right
a
by
natural
him,
position,
right close. And people will talk a lot about, okay, intentional, not intentional, natural position. None of those words are actually in the laws of the game. The only thing it says is it depends on, what I was just talking about, ball to hand to ball, a couple of other things as well, whether it's deemed like, could it be preventable? And it clearly was not. And I think we were really robbed of the 2 points there at the end. If we could have hung on, because who knows, that is the Whitecaps. We do have a tendency of not winning games, so I just think it must be really difficult for a lot of the players, because they weren't in a position like, okay guys, we won the last 4 games you were from a losing position, that's okay, we're 1-1 right now, let's keep going. We didn't really have much going for us after that either.
Not really. I mean, even you listen to like the tone of like the players and the coach, for like the press conference after the game. I mean, like you said earlier, when you were losing, when you're going like on a losing streak, every press conference sounds the same, starting to like sound the same. So we like you said, we were robbed from like the 2 points. It could have been 3 points for us. There's no need to go to the VAR for that decision. I think it's not a penalty at all, and we desperately need to win, and that could have been a great, away win. A point is still good, we didn't play the worst game, but it wasn't one of the best games either. So
So let's talk a little bit about man of the match, if you can give one. Who would it be for our team? For me, I would say the obvious decision is Crepeau, the goalkeeper. He had, I think, 5 saves. Pretty outstanding save towards the end to save us the point. We would have lost 3 points. The Ruse would have been here asking us, is it 3 points lost? Because we were in a leading position when he came out and was pretty outstanding, especially on the shot from, was it Katai that skinned Ali Adnan completely, nutmegged him, sat him down. But when Ali Adnan stood up afterwards, this is around the 31st minute, when Ali Adnan stood up, he looked like he wasn't even interested in defending that shot.
No, I was surprised by the reaction. I mean, coming from like, Serie A, playing against like good teams and all that, you should react better. You got beaten, on the wing, and Katai was doing that all night long. He even switched sides. He was playing right wing first, and then he started playing left wing. He switched, and he was doing that all night long, and he was like their main threat with Gaetan, and obviously Schweinsteiger playing all the passes from the back. Yeah. So first half, like I said, they were all over us.
And Ali Adnan, he didn't really have, even apart from that, he didn't really have a fantastic game.
No, not really. I don't think so. I feel like we're yet to see the best of him.
Yeah, I've seen some good glimpses. I thought, even though last game, like I was saying, I thought he wasn't amazing with missing the penalty, but I mean he did play pretty well with Huang on that left side.
He did.
I didn't see any of that this game.
None
I
of
thought
that
a lot of misplaced passes. And what did you make of Sutter coming on for Nowinski? Dos Santos did say we're going to have some rotation because we have a lot of games in a row with very few rest periods. So what did you make of Scott Sutter?
I mean, he's a MLS vet, so he does the job there. But I think going forward, it was very poor. Like he defended a lot. Like he did his job defensively, but he didn't provide anything going forward.
I agree.
He was very negative, like in possession, to always playing back passes. And for next game, I think Nowinski should start.
Yeah, I think he will too.
So.
I think that's just his intention with
just to keep the rotation going. Yeah, like I think Nowinski would do better there.
Yeah. Next game is against LAFC. We got Carlos Vela. How dangerous has this guy looked? The goals he's scoring in this league is
it's just too
unreal.
easy for him.
And he's coming against a team that hasn't won yet. And last time he was out here, I think he scored a screamer out from outside the box as well.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. So that was the last time that he was at BC Place, scored a really nice goal. I actually couldn't make it to that game, so I can't tell you anything else about it. But do you guys have any lineup predictions? Obviously, we're saying Nowinski is probably going to start for Scott Sutter. I think that Ardais is going to start up top. He has to. I think the comments that Dos Santos was making about Montero, he's had a long preseason and, he's only had a few games to train with a completely new team. I was surprised that he started against Chicago in the first place, and then now I think he's actually going to start, or Ardais is going to start for sure at home against LAFC.
Yeah, I think he will start too, because he can make the difference, in the game. When he comes on, he's fresh, like he's good. He's dynamic. He creates something. He always, trying to create something and score. Like the shot against Seattle, same thing. And this one from Friday's game. So I think he will start. Maybe Freddy Montero will rest for a bit.
Maybe come on as a late sub. Because I did like how Montero looked when he came on late against LA Galaxy. He was causing problems when he comes on late. Like super sub maybe, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough one. There's so much pressure. Every game you go without a win, there's so much pressure on you, on the team, on the manager. And it's just like we said, all the press conferences sound the same. The players look like they could not, they can't give you anything else interesting. Okay, what's going to happen next game? What do you think we're going to do? We're going to try and score a goal. What else do you think that we're going to do? Yeah. We have to try something new. We have to try something different. And I think Dos Santos has been very hard done by. They had a couple of really good passing plays in the game, but what can I say? Little passing plays, little tiki-taka. It doesn't win you games if you only do it a couple of times a game. We have to figure out what to do when we're in the final third,
What else?
What did you think? I mean, you're saying, speaking of final third and the game in general, I think what I got out of it, there was a lot of kick and run soccer, I think. A lot of people just playing long balls and hoping for the best. I think, against you were saying against LA Galaxy, we played very good. Ali Adnan and Inbam, they had a very good connection. 1-2s. They were actually trying to push up the wing, getting crosses in. But I feel like this game against Chicago, there was none of that magic that makes the Whitecaps special. Is the playing through the middle, and we didn't do that. And I thought it was very unorganized. A lot of people holding the ball.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of dribbling.
Our best passing was, or our best plays were when it was wall to wall passing. Like we've all, believe it or not, guys, we've all played on the same team. We know how to do like very simple passing, wall to wall. If you pass it to me, I'm trying to get it out to Ruse. You might be on the wing or something. It might be in your best interest to pass to me to pass Ruse instead of you turning, holding onto the ball. Try to dribble. Sometimes it's good to get a couple of 1-touch, 2-touch passing.
Just play simple, yeah.
Yeah.
I think overall it wasn't the best game from like both sides.
Yeah.
It was very sloppy. It was very windy. You could see when they're playing the long ball, it was just all over the place.
Yeah.
And
Windy City for a reason.
Windy City, yeah. And players in the middle, especially like for Whitecaps, they were taking way too many touches. Way too many touches.
You see it. Even that one Ali Adnan was trying to dribble two guys, then he gets hit.
Yeah.
Falls to the ground. It's like.
And I think part of it is because they're so desperate to like create something, because obviously the results and the negativity around the club, they're trying to create something, and sometimes like you're doing like a little bit too much. Just play your game, play like kind of like, follow the plan, whatever the coach say, because when you play 4-3-3, it's all about possession, move the ball quickly and try to get something. But players they want to create something, because I think once we get that first win, I think some players will gain back the confidence. They'll start playing, their game. Now there's a little bit of like a pressure on them too, so it plays a part.
Yeah, winning mentality. They say, championship teams, they get addicted to winning. Because once you know the feeling, it's hard to go back to losing because you're so used to that dominance.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we always see a lot of the back-to-back championship teams keep winning because that's what they're used to. How can you accept anything less when you
What do you
best,
do when
right?
when you're used to losing? What happens?
But that's the thing, right? Like, we talked about it. A lot of the players in this league, in our team, they're new. They're new to the team. They come from all these different backgrounds. So they don't have experience in MLS. They don't really, it's a totally different game here especially. And they haven't even won their first game.
Yeah, I'm sure right? It doesn't feel nice for players like Juan in Rome, who's looking at this league as like a really good stepping stone in his career, and he's like, wow, I'm playing for a team that's like dead last in the MLS or second dead last, depending on what's going on. I think like like you were saying, like, and actually like what you were saying too, I think tactics can sometimes fly out the window when you feel like, you guys just have to win. You have to do something. I'm sure there was not that much being said to Ardais for him to go and have a hit like that, and I'm sure it's just something that he thought of, like, I gotta have a hit because no one's doing anything.
I gotta create something because we're lacking so much going forward. We're so negative, So yeah, like you said, someone has to be like the hero and score. But
if you guys are the manager, if you guys are Mark Dos Santos and you're going into another training, you've flown back from Chicago, you guys are relaxing on the plane over, you get here Monday morning or whatever it is, guys, we're back in training. What are you going to tell them? Do you have to change something, or do you have to stick to the philosophy and say, listen, I know, you have to say this to yourself, listen, I know that the results haven't gone our way, but we are playing fairly well, apart from maybe some of the last game. They have been playing really well. I still think they've been hard done by VAR. Like, definitely. If it's Sounders, Real Salt Lake, Los Angeles Galaxy, and this one too, 4 games, let's say the VAR doesn't happen in 2 of those games and we have 2 wins instead. We would be talking about having maybe 6 or 7 points
100%, here. It'll change the whole conversation.
Exactly.
That's basically
So do you stick to your philosophy? Because if you're a manager and you walk into Monday morning practice and you say, okay guys, we're going to change everything because clearly it's not working, a lot of players lose confidence in you.
Yes. Yeah.
I would say it's hard to, like, the manager obviously has a vision when he first came to the club, and you can see, like, even like we can see that the team plays well, and you can see there's a lot of positives, like even from the game against Chicago, same thing, like we defended well, we were good defensively, the goalie made great saves, saved us. So I would stick to the philosophy, but obviously when a new manager comes in, every time it takes time. But the question is, like, how long will it take? We can't keep on losing. We need to get a win. A point away is good, like I said. So that could be one of the positives from the game against Chicago. But still, I feel like once we get the win, once we get the first one, we'll be good. Like we'll get back.
You're talking about coach's vision. Mark Dos Santos has said in an interview, he said, I'm not here to be the beginning of a rebuild team. He said, I'm here because I want results. He's like, my vision is to do things for this city. He's not looking at us as like a project that's going to take 2-3 seasons to build, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He wants something now, clearly with the types of players he was trying to buy, finished product, like not completely finished product in their prime, but he's trying to buy a player that is not 18, 19 years old, 0 appearances under his belt. He's trying to buy somebody like Hwang In-beom, who has international experience at the Asian Games and at the, I forget the other games. The one that they won, where they didn't have to do the military service. Is that Asian Games? Yeah.
Asian
and then
Games?
played also in the Asian Cup.
Yeah.
Sorry. So he's experienced in 2 things. Ali Adnan has experience in Europe. The types of players he's going for.
Well,
he clearly is not looking for just, here's a couple of 19, 20, young players, or here's a couple of 31-year-old MLS players. He has a vision. He wants to do something with the team that he has, and he wants it now. And he was very close to having a couple of good starts. I mean, even when playing against Minnesota, we had center backs scoring in the game. Looked like we were scoring for fun. but we lost the game 3-2. And I think that if you lose a game at home where you're leading and you concede 3 goals, it says a lot about your team.
Yeah. No, he wants to get players who can make the difference, you know, for like in terms of like results and getting like wins and all that. But I don't know. It's just at the moment it's like it's very bad. So something has to change.
Yeah. Have you guys, just out of a kind of more personal context, you guys have had lots of experience, many years playing football, playing soccer with us. If you're in a situation like this where something has to change, what would you do as a manager, or what would your manager do for you guys to come in and say, guys, we got to change something, we're not doing so well?
I think the thing is with Whitecaps, and obviously we don't go to practice, we can't see the internal stuff, but as a coach, the coach can't play for the players. It doesn't matter how much the coach has passion, how much tactics they implement, like how much philosophy, whatever they say. At the end of the day, it's the players have to play for themselves. If they don't want to win the game, the coach's not going to come on and play. Like it's good. The coach is good. I like we talk about it. He's signing good players. He's doing everything he can in his power. But the game has to come from the players. And is there a leader on the team?
I don't know. I actually have no idea.
Who when you say captain of Whitecaps, what's the first name that comes to your head?
I still think Waston from last season. Okay. I still think about him. I think about him as a leader. I think about him as a player that was a rock at the back, and even 90th minute up for the corner, the guy would score. The guy was everywhere. I keep thinking about him. I don't even know who. This is gonna sound really dumb because we're doing a podcast about the Whitecaps. I'm not even sure who's wearing the armband. Might be Freddy Montero.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. You don't know. So you go from that. So who do we rely on? Who's going to take charge of the game and become that player that's going to lead the team to the first one, and then from the first one to the second, and for many more. Because from what it looks like, looking at this first half, it was disorganized. Yeah. It was bad. It was honestly like, I like the team. I like how we play. I see great things, but I'm very disappointed. And honestly, we can blame whatever you want, but both teams are playing in the same conditions. Both are under VAR. Both are the same refs. Like, what's the excuse?
Nothing. Right? Not anymore.
You can't blame external things, and I think that, like, and honestly, no offense to Chicago, but. Like, we talk about atmosphere, but they had no atmosphere.
No, there was no one in the stadium. It was I think you could hear like little kids screaming halfway through.
I think there's more fans at the Whitecaps practice than that was at that game. Yeah. I'm dead serious.
You guys ever seen those videos of Ajax fans training? Or sorry, not the fans. Jeez, that's not what I meant. Ajax players training, and the fans they got the flares and they have the flags, and there's like 4,000 of them. Yeah, that was the best atmosphere than anything I've seen in like compared to that Chicago stadium.
Look, and people, you see the fans there. They're just there for fun. Like, oh, you know what? There's nothing else to do. Let me go watch the game. None of them were wearing the jerseys.
I'm sure a lot of the people that bought tickets didn't even go because it was so cold.
They probably got it free from work, and they're like, you know what? We might as well go.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. If it you're now in a comfortable environment. Mm-hmm. Where there's like no one cheering, no one's making fun of you, there's no banter happening, so it could have been like any environment. So
I mean, away games are kind of like always like that.
Yeah,
I don't know if you feel the same way. It's away games are always like that. You can you could blame the pitch or it was windy or whatever, and we didn't have, obviously luck is not on our side, and it hasn't been for like the past like 4 or 5 games, but honestly I think we are still struggling to replace some of the key players we lost last season.
I agree with you.
I think we're yet to find someone who can be like a leader, like you said. We need a leader in the changing room, leader on the pitch, and we don't have that at the moment. You know? And we lost some key players last season.
A lot of Kai Kamara, we'd not really replaced that striker with a lot of goals. Kendall Waston at the back. Daniel Henry has stepped in quite nicely, but as a whole, like, one of the things that a great defender does is not just, okay, how good is your slide tackling, how good is your stand tackle, how good is your man marking. It's organizing your defense. It's organizing everybody. How would Ali Adnan look next to Kendall Waston? How bad would Kendall Waston give it to Ali Adnan for missing that penalty, for getting skinned? Like, there's something about
there's
being
no blame.
a leader. Exactly.
No blame on anyone.
Yeah.
There should be.
Yeah, maybe it's time to start calling at the heads of players
Yeah,
and
I
saying,
think-
look, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong.
It's
And
like a wake up.
Yeah, and I think players need to like demand more of their teammates. You know?
Exactly.
And the fact that we keep on saying, Kendall Waston, he's not the best defender in the world, but he did the job for us. He was our best defender, and that's why we keep on mentioning his name, Kai Kamara's name, Alphonso Davies. They're not the best players in the world, but they were good players for us, and they were good for the league, and they did the job for us, and they saved us many times. So, but yeah, like the players need to like demand more of each other. Like, hey, we should expect more like from each other. Let's try to do something. It's sometimes like we're too laid back. Yes, we've been losing. It doesn't feel good, but you have to keep on trying and like be more positive. So that's the whole thing, really.
Yeah, there's not really that much else that can be said. We've kind of gone over everything. Just hope for the best. I mean, do you guys have any predictions before we change the subject about the game? Well, and keep in mind as well that while we have to play on Wednesday, I think we have to play on the 17th. We have to play on the 20th in Orlando. Which is a crazy long flight.
Yes.
And a good team.
Couple hours, Florida. Yeah.
And a team with Nani, who's out there scoring free kicks and penalties and headers and things that we can't do. Apparently,
it's funny. Like every team now has a superstar. Like that's been dangerous.
Where's our superstar? Where's our Hatem Ben Arfa?
Hatem Ben Arfa.
You can tell the difference, man. Like every game, it's the player. Like Schweinsteiger.
Oh yeah,
center back.
How good was he as center back? I thought he was great at organizing the defense. If that's what I'm talking about earlier, the organizing of his defense. You bring a veteran like that who's won the World Cup, feels like not that long ago even.
Yeah. I mean, that's his attribute, like he was picking the passes and just, dictating the game from the back.
Causing problems for Crepo.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So last thing, predictions. Like I said before we change here, the time, we're running here. What do you guys think against LAFC?
I think if we win, it's going to be another game where we're 60-70%. The LAFC might have 60-70% possession. We might win like 2-1
Just
off a dodgy call. Let's just get a win.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's my prediction. We'll win. We might not have the possession of the stats, but we'll win the game. Hopefully. Yeah. That's a hopeful prediction.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping that we can win. It's not it's a good team, but not the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could beat them. But mainly just keep a clean sheet, and let's not lose at home.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping. Yeah,
not lose at home. We need all the fans. We need the atmosphere. Everyone's gonna be there. Let's win this game.
Yeah. Honestly, I really want to win, but I think
who knows?
if Villa steps up, honestly, it's not
gonna
really
be difficult.
Yeah. Another incoming golazo, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, guys, that's the second episode of Up the Caps podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you're on the Apple podcast platform, don't forget to rate us. It really does help us out. And we will see you guys after the game against LAFC. And don't forget to come out and support the team. Up the Caps.